Okay, let's move it along. Murray Bowden, public speaker. Murray?
Did you call me? I just went to get a book. If you people in the audience would mind being quiet. Thank you. In the elite training courses for our defense forces, they line people up and they say, look to your left, look to your right. I'm waiting for you guys over there. This is about you in particular. And if you're looking at your papers, you're not paying attention to what you need to pay attention to. Look to your left, look to your right. In a year from now, probably one of you won't be here. Don't you read the newspapers? Changes at this organization, changes at that organization. And the problems are at the senior management level. And the boards. The board will do well to look to your left and look to your right. Because one of the board members won't be here next year. I used to come here and say to you, hey, you're doing the lines wrong, you're doing the signs wrong. Yes, in fact, you're doing the toll booths wrong. And I'm not coming to you to ask you for permission to talk to you anymore because it's being changed elsewhere. I've created a record of notification that you've been told you're wasting money and you're decreasing safety. A lot of papers have been subpoenaed in New Jersey about notification, who knew what, when. You have been notified you're doing it wrong. You're putting your signature on the line. You're the one that's going to go before a court and say, how come you spent that money and how come you did it that way? Electronic toll collection is...
Murray, 30 seconds.
If you'd like more information, I'll be glad to provide it for you. But other organizations are moving forward. You're not.
Okay. It's moving the agenda. Okay, we're finished with public approval of minutes. We have minutes in the packet. Do I have a second? Comments? Vote, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the committee work plan. Are there any changes to the committee work plan?
No changes to the committee work plan.
Okay, let's move to report on operations.
Okay, with today's meeting, we're primarily devoting the agency's presentation to safety. The reports on operations, customer environmental survey, Easy Pass performance report, and the capital program status report are all in the committee book for your review and comment. With your approval, if there are no objections, we'd like to move on to the financial report.
Objections? Hearing none, please move on.
Don, please give the financial report.
Thanks, Jim. I'll go through it quickly. It begins on page 43 and includes preliminary end-of-the-year information. Toll revenue for the year was about $1.645 billion, about 1% better than our final estimate. Total non-reimbursable expenses are about $409 million, about 5% lower than our final estimates. Both labor and non-labor costs were down approximately that percent. For the year, overtime came in at just over $19 million, which is 8.8% better than planned and lower than our 2012 actual. And our support to mass transit for this year exceeded $1 billion for the first time, just over $1 billion, $4 million and change. And if there's no questions about the financial report, I'll move on to an action item, which is the operating surplus, B&T operating surplus. Included in the attachments to the staff summary are 9 resolutions associated with transferring the 2013 TBTA operating surplus. These actions can be summarized as follows. There are resolutions to certify and transfer $614,210,249 in 2013 operating surplus to the MTA New York City Transit pursuant to Section 1219A2B of the Public Authorities Law of the State of New York. There are resolutions to transfer the 2013 investment income of $131,302 to the MTA pursuant to Section 569C of the Public Authorities Law of the State of New York. Resolutions to deduct from fiscal 2014 operating revenues of TBTA in the amount of $25,895,344 to be deposited into a necessary reconstruction reserve, which was adopted by board resolution on March 29, 1968. Money credited to the reserve will be applied to the payment of the cost and expense of current and anticipated necessary construction of TBTA facilities. There are resolutions to deduct from fiscal 2014 operating revenues and set aside into a special account an amount determined from time to time to help fund post-retirement liabilities other than pension benefits of its employees. And finally, there are resolutions pursuant to the Public Authorities Law to advance monthly the fiscal 2014 TBTA surplus to the MTA and New York City Transit in an aggregate amount not to exceed 90% of the estimate of the sum of that month's operations, if available, with the first $1.8 million going to New York City Transit and the remaining sum split 50% to New York City Transit, less applicable bond service, and 50% to MTA, less applicable bond service. And your approval is requested of those resolutions.
Okay. On the agenda for
I think we need a vote.
Action?
We need to know.
Mr. Chairman, for 12 years,
well, we need a motion before we can discuss it. Okay. Second. Okay. Now the discussion.
for 12 years we have faced the issue as to whether or not we want to give the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority our operating surplus. And we make that decision,
The
the
MTA.
6 of us, you know that, to give it to our parent authority, to the MTA. What happens if we decide that we want to keep it? But I think that that's too awesome for us to really consider, so I'm going to support the motion and say that the 6 of us should vote to turn $614,210,249 over to our parent authority, the MTA.
Okay.
Oh, you don't have to win.
Mr. Paley, any
Minus one.
comment or? No. Anybody else with comments? Okay. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to procurements.
Good afternoon. There are no non-competitive procurements. There are 2 competitive procurements. One is for the award of a contract to design and construct a new medium voltage substation and an emergency generator and other related work at the Verrazano Narrows Bridge facility in an amount of $11,432,000. The other procurement is for a personal service contract to provide specification planning and development in order to issue a new Easy Pass Customer Service Center RFP for the regional tolling agencies in an amount of $1,481,494. And these 2 procurement actions total $12,913,494 and are detailed in the enclosed staff summaries, starting on page 103. And
I
that's
move that the procurements be adopted.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, the Easy Pass one, is that our proportionate share of the total expense, or are we the one who provides all the expense at the beginning?
It's what we will pay 1/3 of that and be reimbursed by the Port Authority in the throughway.
Oh, so we're paying our proportionate share?
The one, right, what's in the staff summary, the 1.5 million is the total, and we will pay 1/3.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Move the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
With that, we have 2 action items. Peg, if you could elaborate.
Today's action item with respect to the Verrazano Narrows Bridge toll rebate programs appear at pages 111 to 116 of the committee book. We are asking this committee to recommend that the board adopt the resolution delegating authority to the MTA chairman and chief executive officer to take such actions as may be necessary in connection with 2 proposed MTA toll rebate programs at the Verrazanos. Under the Staten Island rebate toll program, the MTA would provide rebates of 50 cents out of the $6 Staten Island resident Easy Pass toll currently paid for residents who take 1 or 2 trips across the bridge, and a rebate of 86 cents per trip for Staten Island residents who take only, I'm sorry, the first was for people taking more than 3 trips, the second was for people taking 1 or 2 trips across the bridge, so that the effective toll would be $5.50 per trip. Under the commercial rebate program, the MTA would rebate 20% of the Easy Pass toll for trucks and other commercial vehicles taking more than 10 trips per month across the bridge from the same New York Customer Service Center Easy Pass account. The tolls that they would be paying are set forth in the book at page 112. The initial annual projected cost of the 2 rebate programs is $14 million. We expect that the legislature will come up with $7 million of the cost, and the MTA would fund the other $7 million cost. In the resolution in the book, it authorizes the chairman and the TBTA president to take such actions as are necessary, which would include an analysis under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and upon determining that there are no significant adverse impacts, if that's what the determination is, deciding whether to implement the rebate programs, but in any event not before the MTA receives funds from the legislature. It is anticipated that the rebates would require several months to implement, which includes reprogramming, and would be effective as of April 1st, 2014. We ask that the committee recommend adoption of the resolution to the board.
As a matter of personal prerogative, I'm going to move this item and ask for a second. Okay. Discussion.
I wasn't clear when you were describing the how the rebate works for passenger cars. It's my understanding that the cost per trip goes down as the number goes up. Is that true?
Under the current toll schedule, if you take 1 or 2 trips across the bridge and you're a Staten Island resident participating in the Easy Pass program, your toll is $6.36 per trip. So that the rebate would be 86 cents per trip to bring your toll down to $5.50. If you take the bridge more than 3 times as a Staten Island resident, your toll is $6 under the current toll schedule. And the rebate in this case would be 50 cents per trip, so that again your effective toll would be $5.50.
Thank you. Can I continue for a second? I appreciate that Staten Island is a particular geographic case in terms of how it fits together with the rest of the city and New Jersey, Long Island. I think that many of the arguments put forth for this proposed program could probably be made for the other crossings that the TBTA is responsible for, and the economic effect or detriment of the tolls that we charge. I appreciate the problem on the commercial side of having no options in terms of how to get off the island other than paying tolls. On the passenger side, I think that in general our purpose is mass transit, and our resources are focused on providing alternatives to individual vehicles. The rebate structure that we're talking about here is basically designed to encourage reliance on individual automobiles as a routine commuting means, and I don't believe that we have, at least in the material that I have received, put forth a convincing argument in favor of singling out particularly the passenger car portion of our users for the proposal in front of us, and that is really the best way we could spend the money, as opposed to perhaps other mass transit investment in Staten Island or elsewhere. I'm not saying that argument might not be made, but I don't believe that it is made in the materials we have received. It's therefore my intent to abstain from this vote.
I'll have much more to say about this at finance, which I think is really where the conversation should take place. I fully understand the need to provide relief for our Staten Island residents. I will move this over to finance and vote for it in that context. But I'll have a lot more to say about it at finance. I'm concerned about the singling out of one class of our citizens. But with that, I will go forward now.
Andrew?
Did I hear you correctly that part of this rebate is being funded by $7 million of it is coming from the MTA itself?
Yes.
And is that getting reimbursed by the state?
The state is coming up with $7 million, approximately half of the program, and the MTA is funding the other half.
That $7 million, when we hear about it in various other committees, such as transit and everything, represents quite a bit of service in various places. So has any analysis been made as to what service MTA will not be providing as a result of that $7 million new?
Commissioner, I believe that the staff summary says that the 2014 portion of the $7 million is about $5.5 million, and that the MMTOA account is for the 2014 budget is approximately $5.5 million higher, and that's where the funds are coming from.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. Speaking to the motion, okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the governor of the state of New York, the Speaker of the Assembly, who's taken a personal interest in this proposal for the economic development purposes in the region, particularly on the commercial side, and the Majority Leader of the Senate, who all got together to provide some of the funding to do this. And on the commercial side, this is a first, I believe, ever commercial discount, which does not just apply to Staten Island, it applies to any commercial vehicle in the region who'll be doing that, and serves a legitimate economic benefit for the entire region. And I think it's been a long time coming. I've worked with the staff on this particular program, peppering them with questions going back as far as the summer of 2012 when we were considering fare hikes. I particularly applaud Jim Ferrara, Mr. Fortunato, the general counsel, her deputy, outside counsel of Paul Weiss, who helped resolve some of the issues, and there have been many issues that were thorny that needed to be examined very carefully to put this together. Required a lot of teamwork from the staff level, from local elected officials to statewide elected officials, in order to see this come to fruition. I thank you all for those efforts in getting us to this point. I will renew my commitment to those of you who ordinarily hear me on the service side asking for more service, whether it be on the Long Island Railroad and half-hour from an hour service on the Port Washington line, to the implementation of weekend service on the Long Island Railroad, to the B-37 in Brooklyn, and various other things. It's my personal belief there is revenue, that the fiscal forecast is a little better than the weather forecast, certainly. And I urge the adoption of this resolution. Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the second action item. That's it, both of them? Sorry. Okay, with that said, we'll move on to the safety presentation. Nothing is more important than safety, the safety of our employees, our customers, and the community of contractors working for bridges and tunnels. While safety has always been a top priority at Bridges and Tunnels, on December 9, 2013, I had the opportunity to address over 300 employees at a safety stand-down meeting. I, along with Chairman Prendergast, renewed our agency's commitment to safety. But actions speak louder than words. To ensure that safety is a priority at the highest levels of this organization, I have reorganized my executive staff so that the Chief Health and Safety Officer is a direct report to the President. In addition, I have scheduled regular meetings with the Bridge and Tunnel Operations Management teams so that I can stay in touch with the issues that affect our employees that deliver service every day. I have also formed a field safety team comprised of operations managers, health and safety professionals, facility engineers, traffic engineering professionals, and represented employees. This group inspects facilities so that safety issues can be addressed in a timely manner. The Director of Facility Operations in charge of this program will make regular reports to the President. I have also directed our Office of Labor Relations to ensure that safety is a standing topic at all our labor management meetings. And I would like to thank B&T's labor unions for their support and cooperation. Finally, I have instructed the Operations Department to begin the process of TIMS training. TIMS training is given by the New York State DOT to New York State troopers and is highly regarded as a safety tool for employees working and responding to incidents in active roadways. While training, procedures, policies, metrics, and trend lines are all very important safety tools, nothing is more critical than developing a safety culture at the top of this organization so that it can flow to the workforce. Towards this end, I am pleased to announce that Gotham Culture will be working with the B&T executive staff to establish a strong safety culture in our organization. Gotham Culture has experience in supporting transportation agencies and implementing cultural change. With that being said, I will now turn this over to B&T Chief Health and Safety Officer Andrew Petrovich.
Good afternoon. You can see on slide 6 here, self-explanatory organizational chart for the Health and Safety Department with the report directly to President Ferrara. And if we move to slide 7, we've got some further information about the Health and Safety Department here. A little bit of background and some of the areas that we are involved with in the organization, along with managing asbestos and lead abatements. We advise and assist in all aspects of health and safety in the agency, which you'll see in the rest of the presentation. For example, we review operations department training and personal protective equipment and assist in the writing of any safety related procedures. We assist also engineering and construction department with the review of all the construction specs and contractors' health and safety plans. As mentioned too on that slide, that we have our personnel at various facilities. We have our laptops. We go when we're needed. We're at facilities most of the week, and are there to answer questions or anything that happens or respond to any incident at a facility. We also, that's it for my presentation or my piece. I'm going to pass it along to Pat Parisi.
Okay, great. Okay. Our operations safety message gets out within our department 2 ways every day. One, prior to going into the field each day, our law enforcement and maintenance personnel have a pre-tour roll call to muster and receive daily instructions, which include any safety messages pertinent to impending weather, traffic, or specific potential hazards for the assigned task. Our Special Operations Division provides a central unified command that allows for all safety information and bulletins to be disseminated timely across all levels of the organization. That division additionally enhances roadway safety through speed and truck enforcement. The training courses listed on the slide are provided to operations personnel depending on whether they are law enforcement or maintenance. The training is provided to personnel prior to them ever starting a field assignment. Initial training for a maintenance employee is 5 weeks, and law enforcement personnel receive 15 weeks. Some of this training is repeated annually through a block training program within the agency. Operations personnel are provided various articles of safety clothing and equipment to perform assignments in the safest manner possible. A specific mention to one of the safety items listed, the roadway weather sensors. These devices at each of our facilities allow B&T to monitor pavement temperature, de-ice or brine concentration, and wind speed. This information allows B&T to be proactive in its application of de-icer or imposing necessary restrictions and speed reductions in the case of high winds. This tool plays a significant role in B&T ensuring roadway safety during weather events. Some of the safety equipment we have incorporated are, on the left you see cushioned gate arms with the do not back up message for customers going through. Automated pothole repair truck that we've had for years that allows the operator to remain in the truck while they make the repairs of the roadway. It allows us to be efficient and also enhances the safety of all. Next you'll see one of our employees in arc flash prevention gear. New program that we've been moving out. Actually, of course, the entire MTA is moving it out so that our employees are well protected and trained and working on switch gear. As we upgrade a lot of facilities, we're moving to drive-on lifts. This replaces a lot of our older facilities that had pits, floor jacks, and swing arm lifts. Very safe, especially when lifting up some of our bigger snow equipment during the winter. Much safer for our personnel. Variable message signs that we can move around, moving the message to where it's needed in the agency. And then you can see the last picture, one of our police law enforcement vehicles with raised LED rabbit ears that provide us with good visibility while we're out in the field.
Can I ask one quick
Sure.
question about the variable message?
Yep.
Are they light sensitive? If it's really sunny, do they get brighter, for
They
instance?
do have a day-night sensor in them, yes. And if it's working properly, you should see that.
Okay,
You
thanks.
should see that, yes. Go ahead.
Which one is it? This one?
What's that?
They have day and night, but do they have bright sun versus cloudiness?
It's a lighting sensor on it, so it would, yes. Yeah, there is a lighting sensor. Generally, it would be the day-night, that's how they refer to it. You see here, we perform rigorous inspections on our equipment. The two trucks you see here are specialized aerial and crane equipment. We ensure that these are inspected, third-party inspection and certification twice a year for the safety of our employees and all those around them. We also have begun through MTA crane vehicle training and certification for all the operators. We run quite a few of these vehicles, and it's a big part of our job, and we want to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Operations procedures. Operations has developed over the years procedures that guide and direct employee actions and provide pertinent safety information. Vehicles are checked pre and post tour. Roll calls, as discussed previously, include pre-tour safety information, including toll plaza safety and specific safety messages such as seatbelt use. Over the last couple of years, we've improved access to these procedures for personnel as they are now available online with InfoNet availability. This is just an example, Jim, if you wanted to say, of a special operations bulletin. Go ahead.
We receive these bulletins from various police agencies throughout the country, and we provide immediate access to our employees from other agencies that may see things in the field and they want to pass on to us. And we also work with the MTA police on exchanging information, New York City PD and the state police.
Okay, next one. B&T has enhanced safety through process re-engineering, which includes such things as regrouping of toll lanes, changing in traffic patterns to reduce and or eliminate crisscrossing of vehicles and trucks. We've converted to LED lighting on bridge cables and towers, reducing the need for more frequent maintenance and replacement through the longer life cycle of LED bulbs, in addition to the green energy savings that we receive. We increased patrols of roadways in or near major capital construction projects to ensure speed limits are obeyed. Traffic delineators are used to keep vehicles in lanes and prevent crossover in tunnels. As you can see some of the pictures, the delineators, and the one in the middle, you can see not everyone volunteers for that job going on the cables. That's good. Here you can see examples of enhanced safety vests used by our personnel, and a couple of samples of the new LED fixtures that are affixed at the top of our suspension bridges. Good. A safety task force has been created comprised of management and union safety officers jointly performing facility safety audits, and they either make corrections or improvements on the spot, or in the case of a needed more complex or technical solution, direct the issue to the safety action team, who is comprised of maintenance and engineering professionals. We've implemented safety stand-downs at facilities every 60 days to reinforce and focus our safety message. Specific safety issues are discussed at toolbox meetings and roll call messages as well for operations personnel. Okay. Quarterly ACROBAT, which stands for Achieving Collision Reduction on Bridges and Tunnels, meetings are held to review collision data, review traffic configurations at bridges and tunnel sites, and use the data in determining any necessary modifications, and also allow special operations to target deployments to areas that may need immediate attention. These meetings allow the agency to deploy resources in an informed manner. We also have safety review meetings on a quarterly basis to review employee injuries and underlying causes and possible mitigation strategies. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the Vice President of Administration, Sharon Gallipacho.
Good afternoon. We move on to the Occupational Health Program. B&T provides pre-employment medical exams for its employees and ongoing medical screening for employees who have commercial driver's license exams under U.S. DOT regulations. In addition, there's a program for random drug and alcohol testing for operations employees. In addition, we have medical assessments of employees who are absent for medical reasons and monitoring employees with medical conditions. There are fitness for duty exams, and there are approximately 1,100 of those exams every year. In addition, we provide a hearing conservation program for operations employees, influenza inoculations, hepatitis B inoculations, and defibrillators at all of our facilities with defibrillator training for personnel at the facilities. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Joe Keene for information on engineering and construction safety.
Good afternoon. The Engineering and Construction Department is involved in 4 distinct areas that pertain to safety noted on the slide. I'm going to, in the following slides, discuss each of these areas in some detail.
This advances it.
Okay, thank you.
Point it up to you and project the job.
Yeah. First, the construction safety program. Primary focus of the construction safety program is to achieve safe work sites across our entire construction program, and that is safety of the general public, safety of the contractors, safety of our customers and employees. The way we're organized to achieve that is we have a construction safety unit in the engineering construction department. That construction safety officer who leads that unit is a direct report to me, and that construction safety officer was a credentialed safety professional, provides technical support to the site facility engineers who run the individual programs at each bridge and tunnel facility in order to ensure that technical safety advice is provided where necessary to support the achievement of program goals.
In addition to that, moving forward, the construction safety function will quarterly provide reports to B&T President on the status of the construction safety program. As mentioned, the way we're organized in the engineering department and construction department is the responsibility for safety flows down to the construction sites, and basically there are different partners involved in achieving a safe project. Obviously the contractor, the resident engineer, and the facility engineer, project manager, staff at the site. Larger projects have full-time certified safety professionals that are employed by the contractors. The smaller projects, we have some part-time safety managers. With that, and as noted further down, we also have an independent safety consultant who provides an additional level of safety oversight and support to the construction safety officer in implementation of the program. The construction safety officer also gets involved in reviewing the construction specifications and the individual job hazard analysis for particular construction operations and the overall project approach. More recently, we have established an engineering construction safety committee which meets regularly to discuss safety issues, trends, policies, emerging issues, and makes recommendations through the construction safety officer for changes as necessary to the program. Another significant area that has a safety focus is traffic safety engineering. Is an integral function within the engineering construction department, and again consists of transportation professionals who have solid experience in this area. I should point out this group is not alone supports the engineering construction department's capital program, but also in a sense is an operational group that provides support to the operations department, particularly in the previously mentioned Acrobat program. The facility engineering department group is extremely involved in providing technical support in analyzing traffic hotspots and recommended traffic accident hotspots and recommended mitigation actions. As noted in the slide, they're also involved in a number of reviews of maintenance. MPT stands for Maintenance and Protection of Traffic, compliance with the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices and other technical standards to ensure that our projects are implemented safely and in compliance with all governing codes and standards. A third area that I want to discuss is structural integrity and safety inspections. Obviously, maintaining safe passage for our customers and safety of the public is a critical mission for the engineering construction department and for the authority as a whole. We have a vigorous program of bridge and tunnel inspection that has been peer reviewed and has undergone a number of outside audits and independent reviews, and has been deemed to be extremely in-depth and comprehensive in its scope and nature. The program ensures a systematic, in-depth inspection of structures, critical facility systems are carried out, and that any events such as Superstorm Sandy, seismic events, or unusual events, that additional integrity and safety inspections are conducted in the immediate aftermath of such events, and that structural and safety conditions that are identified through these inspections are in turn corrected promptly to ensure public safety. As I mentioned before, there are engineering construction department initiatives, but we also operate in in a collaborative manner with other departments to ensure the overall agency goals are realized. And this slide basically illustrates a number of areas where the safety programs of the various departments come together with shared resources and cooperation to ensure that overall safety goals for training, for coordination with outside agencies such as the fire department, and for implementation of changes in safety policy are discussed between the various affected departments. Regional improvements, just want to touch on the issue of off-property traffic safety issues sometimes affect our facilities and our customers, and traffic bottlenecks and associated issues off property can in fact impact the customer safety on our facilities. So as you will see on this slide, the ongoing project at the Verrazano Narrows Toll Plaza is an example of a collaboration between the TBTA and the New York State Department of Transportation to basically reconfigure that toll plaza interchange in a safer manner to achieve less weaving, to achieve better design in compliance with modern standards, so that that whole interchange operates more safely with resulting benefits to the public and to our customers. So that's just another example of regional issues. So want to end by just talking about some current status and next steps for the engineering construction department. We are continuing to expand our safety training for our project managers and facility engineering staff. We are revising and making more transparent and clear our safety and fire protection specifications to promote accountability, and we are monitoring and setting up metrics to establish both leading metrics that would help us identify proactively emerging safety trends before they become problems. And I refer you to the handouts for the appendices, which provide further graphs and charts that show the information listed on the slide. And unless there are any questions, that concludes my discussion. In the two tunnels that we have, the things that you put in the middle of the road to divide the lanes, are those called delineators?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to congratulate you for changing those, because when I first started here they were bulky cone-like structures, and now they have morphed into very slender and attractive sticks with attractive reflectors on it, and I think that that makes a big difference.
Yes, thank you.
And I never knew they were called delineators.
Any other questions?
That ends our presentation then.
All right, that concludes our business. Do you have a motion? Second. Okay, all in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.